Most people think muscle loss only happens when you're inactive for months, when you skip workouts, eat poorly, or stop training altogether. But here's something most people miss. Your body is constantly in a push and pull between building and breaking down muscle. And one of the most overlooked windows where this breakdown can quietly take over is during sleep. That's right. While you're off in dreamland, your muscles are still in the game, but without the right support, they're on the losing side. You see, when we go to bed, we enter a fasted state. That means the body isn't getting any external fuel for about 7 to 9 hours. And during that time, your system shifts into a catabolic mode, essentially breaking things down to use as energy or to keep basic functions going. If your body doesn't have circulating amino acids from protein, it's going to find those amino acids somewhere else, often from your own muscle tissue. It's a quiet process. You don't feel it happening. You're not going to wake up and say, wow, I lost half a pound of muscle overnight. But make no mistake, it's real, and over time it adds up. This isn't speculation. It's measurable and backed by solid science. Studies using tracer amino acids show that muscle protein breakdown increases overnight if no protein is consumed before bed. And for people who work hard in the gym, eat clean, and try to optimize their performance, this one missing link can silently steal their progress. You might be hitting every workout perfectly, managing your macros throughout the day, but if you ignore what happens during those 8 hours of sleep, you're giving up a third of your day to muscle loss. Now, this doesn't mean sleep is bad, quite the opposite. Sleep is essential for recovery. Growth hormone release is elevated. Testosterone levels peak. These are all muscle supporting mechanisms. But the body can only build with raw materials. And those raw materials are amino acids. Without them, the hormonal environment is primed for growth, but the tools to do the work just aren't there. Think of it like this. Imagine your body is a construction crew that clocks in at night, ready to repair and rebuild the damage from your workouts. But they show up to the site and there's no wood, no cement, no steel. They're ready to work, but they can't do anything. That's your body during sleep without protein. It's a missed opportunity. Worse, it's a reversal of progress. And here's the thing that surprises most people. This isn't just a concern for elite athletes or bodybuilders. Even if your goal is simply to maintain lean muscle mass as you age or stay metabolically healthy, this process matters. Muscle isn't just about aesthetics. It's an organ of longevity. It drives your metabolism, supports insulin sensitivity, protects your joints, and helps you move efficiently. So even mild, consistent losses over months or years can leave you feeling weaker, stiffer, slower. The frustrating part is that this loss is preventable. With one simple change, taking in the right kind of fuel before bed, you can shift the balance back in your favor. It's not about eating a massive meal at night. In fact, that's not ideal. It's about providing the body with just enough of what it needs to stay anabolic, to protect the work you've done during the day, and to continue building even while you sleep. If you do nothing before bed, your body will take what it needs from your own muscle. There's a popular idea out there that as long as you hit your daily protein target, it doesn't matter when you take it. And while it's true that total protein matters, that idea leaves out something critical. Timing absolutely does influence how your body uses that protein, especially when it comes to protecting and building muscle during sleep. This is where the science gets really interesting, because what you take right before bed can actually determine whether your body stays in a state of repair and growth or slips into muscle breakdown. Let's look at how this works. Protein synthesis, the process by which your body builds muscle, doesn't happen all at once after you eat. It happens in pulses throughout the day, triggered by the availability of amino acids. But here's the problem. During sleep, you don't eat, you don't snack, you don't sip on a shake, you're fasting, sometimes for up to 9 hours. That means there's no new trigger for protein synthesis unless you front load it before you close your eyes. And that's where taking protein before bed becomes a game changer. Researchers have looked into this very question. If you take protein right before sleep, does it change the way your body repairs and builds muscle overnight? The answer is yes. In fact, multiple randomized control trials have shown that consuming protein, particularly a slow digesting one like casein, right before bed increases overnight muscle protein synthesis. That means the body is actually using those amino acids during sleep to build and preserve muscle tissue. The key is that slow digesting protein. Fast proteins like whey get absorbed quickly, great for post-workout but not ideal for sleep. Casein, on the other hand, digests slowly, releasing amino acids steadily over several hours. So instead of a spike and crash, you get a slow, consistent stream of building blocks for your muscles while you sleep. It's almost like a time release mechanism working quietly in the background just when your body needs it most. And this isn't just about getting bigger or stronger, it's also about avoiding unnecessary loss. When you train hard, you're creating small tears in muscle fibers. The repair of those fibers is what leads to growth. But if you go to bed without protein in your system, your body may break down muscle to source those repair materials. It's a strange paradox. You work hard to build, then unintentionally fast during the most crucial recovery window and lose ground. People often ask, can't I just eat more during the day? And sure, daytime nutrition sets the foundation, but think about this. If you trained your legs in the morning, would you wait until the next day to refuel? No, you'd want to feed your body during and after that recovery window. So why would you go to sleep another recovery window on an empty tank? It just doesn't make sense when you look at what the science is telling us. The most effective approach is to treat sleep like a strategic part of your training. Just like you plan your workouts, your hydration, and your macros, the pre-sleep window needs intention. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Around 30 to 40 grams of casein or a high-quality blend is often enough to sustain muscle protein synthesis throughout the night. That's just one scoop or a simple shake, but the payoff is massive. Even if you're not an athlete, this still matters. As we age, our sensitivity to protein drops. That means we need more stimulation to trigger the same level of muscle building. So a younger person might be okay skipping a nighttime protein shake once in a while, but if you're over 30, skipping this step could mean slowly, silently losing muscle every year. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine. Just one decision, one scoop of protein before bed can completely change the overnight landscape for your muscles. At night, your body enters one of its most powerful regenerative states. It's when repair processes go into high gear. Inflammation is regulated, your brain consolidates memory, and your muscles begin recovering from everything you put them through during the day. But there's a common misunderstanding. People assume that recovery automatically means growth, that as long as you sleep, your muscles are rebuilding and growing stronger. But that's not always true. There's a major difference between repair and rebuilding. If you don't give your body the right tools before you sleep, you might only be getting half the benefit. When you train, whether it's lifting, running, or even physical labor, you cause microscopic damage to your muscles. That damage is necessary. It signals your body to adapt, get stronger, build new muscle fibers, but the adaptation only happens if your system has access to the raw materials needed to carry it out. During sleep, your body is primed to recover. Hormones like growth hormone, testosterone, and IGF-1 increase naturally. These create the perfect anabolic environment. But even in that ideal hormonal state, the body can't synthesize new muscle tissue out of thin air. It needs amino acids, the building blocks of muscle. If they aren't present, your body will focus on basic repair, not actual muscle growth. In other words, it's damage control, not progress. Imagine having the best team of builders in the world with all the tools ready to go, but you forget to order bricks and concrete. That's what happens when you go to bed without any protein in your system. Your body is fully prepared to rebuild, yet there's nothing to work with. So instead of adding new muscle, your system just patches up what it can with whatever's left over. That might include breaking down other tissue to supply the amino acids it needs, which means, yes, it's possible to lose muscle even as your body is recovering. This is why nutrient timing is such a powerful lever. By simply consuming the right type of protein before bed, you're giving your body the materials it needs at the exact moment it's most ready to use them. You're not forcing it, you're supporting a natural process that's already trying to happen. That shift from basic maintenance to real rebuilding can mean the difference between hitting a plateau and making consistent gains. What's especially fascinating is that this applies even to people who aren't training intensely. Even if you're doing moderate workouts or simply trying to stay active, your muscles still go through stress, they still need recovery, and as you get older, the body's efficiency at repairing and growing muscle starts to slow down. The signal for growth has to be stronger. The materials for repair have to be more available. And unfortunately, many people unknowingly underfeed their bodies during the exact time when it's trying hardest to recover. So the goal isn't just to sleep. The goal is to optimize what happens during that sleep. When you give your body the right nutrients, specifically a slow digesting protein, you unlock the potential to grow while you rest. You no longer just recover, you rebuild. So let's talk about what this actually is, what you should be taking before bed to make sure your muscles aren't silently breaking down while you sleep. The answer isn't some miracle powder or exotic supplement. It's something simple, effective, and backed by science. Casein protein. Casein is a slow-digesting protein found in dairy, and it's been studied extensively for its unique ability to release amino acids over several hours. That's exactly what makes it ideal before bed. When you take casein at night, it forms a gel-like consistency in your stomach, allowing for a gradual, steady release of amino acids into your bloodstream. As that slow drip keeps muscle protein synthesis active throughout the night, exactly when your body would otherwise be slipping into a catabolic state. Compare that to something like whey protein. Whey is fantastic after a workout because it digests quickly and spikes amino acid levels fast, but it's in and out of your system in just a couple of hours. When you're going to bed for 7, 8, even 9 hours, you need something that lasts. That's why casein works so well. It's like setting your muscles on autopilot for recovery while you sleep. Now, the sweet spot for casein seems to be around 30 to 40 grams before bed. That amount has consistently been shown in studies to elevate overnight muscle protein synthesis. It's enough to keep amino acid levels stable through most of the night, supporting not just repair, but actual rebuilding. If you want to keep it simple, a high-quality casein shake mixed with water or almond milk is easy, light, and effective. But casein isn't the only tool available. Some people choose a blended protein that contains both casein and other sources like whey isolate or egg white protein. These blends can work well too, especially if they include other nutrients that support recovery. For example, adding a little magnesium can improve sleep quality, glycine can promote deeper REM cycles, and collagen peptides can support joint and connective tissue repair, which is particularly useful if you're lifting heavy or dealing with nagging injuries. What matters most is consistency. You don't need to take a dozen different supplements. You don't need a stack of expensive products. You just need to make sure your body has what it needs during the one time of day when you're not eating and can't correct course overnight. This is where the science becomes empowering. When you understand how your body works, how it rebuilds, how it recovers, you can make smarter decisions. And when those decisions are simple to implement, they become habits. Habits become routines, and routines become results. One shake before bed isn't just a drink. It's a signal to your body that you're still in control, even while you sleep. As we get older, something starts to change quietly beneath the surface. Muscle becomes harder to build and easier to lose. This isn't just a fitness issue, it's a biological shift. Around the age of 30, we begin to experience something called anabolic resistance. That means our muscles become less responsive to the usual signals that stimulate growth. The same amount of protein or the same workout that once triggered muscle development now produces a smaller effect. And if nothing is done to counteract that resistance, we slowly start losing lean mass, even if we're active. This process is known as sarcopenia, or age muscle loss. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's easy to ignore in your 30s or even early 40s, but by the time it becomes noticeable, it's already well underway. The good news is we can slow it down dramatically with smart nutrition strategies. And one of the most powerful yet simplest things you can do is ensure your body is fed properly before sleep. That pre-bed window becomes even more important as you age. Your body's ability to stay in an anabolic muscle-preserving state during the night is already reduced. So if you go to bed with nothing in your system, no circulating amino acids, you're putting your body in a situation where it almost has to break down its own muscle tissue to support basic overnight functions. It doesn't want to do that, but it will if it's left with no other choice. By giving your body a slow digesting protein like casein before sleep, you're not just feeding muscle, you're protecting it. You're telling your system, here's what you need, so don't break down what I've worked for. That message is especially important for older individuals, but it applies at any age, because what you do in your 30S and 40S lays the foundation for how strong, mobile, and functional you'll be in your 50S, 60S, and beyond. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. One small change repeated over time makes a massive difference. And the more time you let pass without addressing this nightly window, the more muscle you quietly lose without realizing it. And the truth is, success in anything, whether it's muscle growth, health, or performance, rarely comes from big, dramatic efforts done once in a while. It comes from the small things you do consistently, especially the things no one sees. Drinking a protein shake before bed might not feel like a game changer in the moment. It takes less than 2 minutes. But when you stack that habit night after night, week after week, it compounds into real, measurable progress. It's easy to get caught up in chasing the next big idea or constantly switching strategies. But your body doesn't need constant novelty. It needs steady support. Taking care of your body before bed is one of those unglamorous habits that builds a powerful foundation over time. It's not flashy, but it works. The people who succeed long-term in preserving and building muscle aren't necessarily the ones with the most perfect workouts. They're the ones who do the small things consistently, even when no one's watching, even when they're tired. You're either reinforcing growth or allowing decay. And the difference often comes down to the choices you make when it's easy to skip, like whether or not you fuel your body before going to sleep. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine. You just need to commit to doing one thing every night that supports your recovery and muscle preservation. So when you think about progress, don't focus on what you do occasionally. Focus on what you do every night. One habit, one decision, one action, repeated over and over again. That's what builds results that last. So here's the bottom line. Your muscles aren't just built in the gym. They're built in the quiet hours of the night, when no one's watching, when your body is doing the hard work of recovery. And if you don't give it the fuel it needs before bed, you're missing the most critical window for growth and preservation. This isn't about hype or guesswork. This is about what the science shows, and more importantly, what your body has been asking for all along. A simple, consistent choice before sleep, like a slow digesting protein, can be the difference between progress and decline. You've done the hard work during the day. Don't let it slip away at night. If you're serious about building muscle, maintaining strength, and protecting your body as you age, the hours you spend sleeping can no longer be a blind spot. You train hard, eat clean, and stay disciplined, so why let all that effort slowly fade away overnight just because one habit was missing? Taking a slow digesting protein like casein before bed isn't just a supplement strategy. It's a way of reinforcing everything you've worked for. It supports muscle protein synthesis, prevents unnecessary breakdown, and gives your body the exact fuel it needs when it needs it most. And the best part? It's simple. One small step, taken consistently, can produce long-term results. This isn't about chasing perfection. It's about building a system that works for you even while you sleep. No more losing muscle quietly in the background. No more giving up recovery time without even realizing it. You have control. You have the knowledge, and now you have the strategy. So as you wind down tonight, remember, this one decision, this 2-minute habit could be the reason your muscles start growing while the world is asleep. Protect your progress. Feed your recovery. Don't let your muscles disappear while you rest.